Hey guys, it's Spoot with Fort Misery Gaming. Once again, we're doing Sinoalice, a should you pull on the Nier Replicant banner. So, there have been a couple of things that have popped up on Twitter. They are referring to this week's banner as part 1 with Kaine, so we are assuming it will be her and probably Emil on Raid Up. I'm not really sure how that's going to go because they keep saying part 1 and we'll figure that out. So I'm going to go over the characters that come with it and sort of what to expect out of it. So Adult Neir, the Paladin, is going to be our login character. So you get him just for showing up. I'm a huge Replicant Gestalt fan. It's one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Not to mention, like, the game itself is actually pretty good. So for a free character, he's not too bad. A lot of magical attack. 150 for a free character is definitely not too terrible. Plus, he looks pretty cool. So that's your free character. Your Young Neir is your purchasable character. So he comes with the Grimoire Vice. This is not only a character from the game, it's also a tome for sorcerers. It's got a pretty good, I would argue decent ability as far as the attack goes. So it reduces the physical attack and magical attack of 1 to 2 enemies by a great amount. So it's a double debuff, possibly twice. It also has Replenish Magic 2 on it. Not necessarily the worst one, but it's pretty high tier as far as the Coliseum aid skills go. It's high on physical attack and magic attack, which are the 2 stats it uses to debuff, so that's pretty good. At L, it's 5100 stats, so that's pretty good. So if you are into buying classes, he's decent. Emil Clone is an event reward, so we have to clear event verse 10, and we get a minstrel skin. He doesn't really have anything going on other than, you know, he's got some stats on him. I do not believe he comes with a weapon, but we will see. I'll be getting him just because I'm tired of looking at Gretel. I need a change of pace in my life. King of Facade and Yona will probably not be on these sets of banners. I highly doubt it, mostly because their weapons were on the rerun in Japan, and if you'll notice in the stats, they're about 1,200 to 1,300 higher than the weapons we have now. So that leaves us with Kaine, Young Emil, and Devil and Popala. So we'll do Kaine first. She is a breaker. She's got some decent stats on her. It's mostly physical defense, so she is definitely more of a defensive-based breaker stat thing. Although physical attack 300 for her common is not terrible. Would give her 400 total on the class. Kaine's sword, wind element, massive damage to 1 enemy, also has Replenish Magic 2. Not the greatest on breakers. Generally, you want Dauntless Courage, but there aren't that many floating around, and this is a pretty good substitute. It's got almost 2,000 physical attack, 1,300 magical attack, and almost 1,000 each defense on L at level 80. So 5139 for total stats. Pretty decent. Another good, massive element weapon, and it's a green sword, which we do not have a crap ton of yet that are usable. I mean, I guess you can use anything, but you know what I mean. Young Emil. He's a mage, so you don't really care. He's got a lot of magic defense and attack. A lot of magic defense. He's got 300. Good God. And his weapon is, I'm just showing you for the sake of showing you. It is the Halua Head. So it does great magical damage to 1 to 2 enemies, increases combo count by 5 when comboing. Also has support boon and tops off just shy of 5,100 stats. It's an artifact, so you don't really care. This is kind of like the class on here that you're not worried about. And Devila and Popala are the cleric in one of these banners. Decent look to them. Decent model. Stats seem to be mostly okay. They're pretty well rounded. So you have 200 magical defense, 100 mag attack, 100 physical defense, 100 physical attack. So it's not the worst. It's decent enough for a cleric anyway. Popala and Devil's Staff, actually pretty good. It's a 2 heal, so that's a big deal. It's a moderate amount of HP, and it has a Fizz defense buff by a small amount. So that's pretty good. Also has recovery support. So the off chance that it procs while you're healing, you will heal a ridiculous amount. At L, level 80, it's got just shy of 5,200 stats. It's got magic attack 1,500, magic defense 1,000. Those are generally what you're worried about, although you've got physical defense on it too. It's not like you're going to get a hit, so it doesn't really matter. But decent enough stats on the staff. I actually really like this staff. And it's funny too because they're essentially songstresses in the game, so it's weird that they made them clerics and not minstrels. I'm not mad. I'm really mad, but it's okay. So that's pretty much the characters for the banner. So here's the short version. It's probably going to be a 2-part banner. We don't know exactly in what combination of characters and rate ups yet. We will find out in the morning. So if you are a breaker, Kaine is not bad. Her sword's pretty decent. If you are a cleric, Devil and Popula it's a pretty good staff. If you are buying, Young Neir is a real good sorcerer option. That's a Grimoire Vice is very good. If you're not one of these 3 things, and well, even if you're a sorcerer, don't chase anything on the banner. There's just not anything here that we're really looking for. Breakers, Kaine Sword's really good. Devil and Popula, Clerics, the staff is pretty solid. The off chance is that on one of the rate ups there will be a meal, so I'm sorry. Free-to-play players, I would still recommend, especially for Clerics, you probably lean towards the spec banners that we're eventually getting. Since gems are getting tight at this point, saving is probably a good plan unless you really need another staff. And I don't want to tell you to go like crazy deep on it, but it is a very good staff. Minstrels, Crushers, Paladins, you guys can pretty much skip. Sorks can skip the banner too. Free-to-play players, you kind of have to gauge how many gems you have versus how many you're expecting to pull. If you just want to throw a singleton down and see if you can get what you're looking for, I guess that's fine, but be careful. Like, this is where we're going to start getting into the point where gems are very, very hard to come by, and we also have a secondary banner with the Sleeping Beauty Paladin coming out tomorrow as well. So just play it safe, play it smart. So should you pull, if you're a breaker and you've got some gems left over, sure, same thing with Cleric. Everybody else, probably stay away from it. So that's it for me. This is going up. I will have the Paladin, should you pull, up tomorrow when it comes live. But that's it from Spoot. So you guys have a good one, and don't get miserable.